Hello, welcome back to my garden. Today we're going to be planting up this problem child. Some of you may recognize this is a SweetGum tree that I had sitting up by the greenhouse, and I mentioned in a previous video or previous videos, can't remember because I'm old and senile, but this SweetGum tree I rescued from somewhere here in the garden. I have several SweetGum trees growing around the area and the perimeter of the garden itself, and this was a little seedling that I saw and I plucked it up. Initially, I thought it was a maple. The leaves look maple-ish. So initially I thought it was a maple, and then upon further investigation, I discovered it was a SweetGum tree. SweetGum trees are fairly common around here. They do have a lovely color in the fall when they go to drop their leaves. And I don't have many deciduous trees around here. I have a lot of pine trees, but very few deciduous trees. So I'm going to be planting this guy here. Now, this is where I'm standing is actually going to be inside the shade garden at some point in the future. But first, as you can see, we need shade. That's where this tree comes in. Right around over here will eventually be some sort of hedge. That will come up yay high, and then there'll be the trees, and all this will provide structure and shade for the area. There's a couple of things that I did note when I was doing some research on the SweetGum tree. One was it can put down a pretty deep taproot, except in areas where there's poor soil, which might be my area. So in 10, 20, or 30 years, I might be dealing with a bit of a root issue going out into the grand walkway. So whomever inherits the garden next will have to deal with maybe a root issue. That, again, won't be my problem. Also, there's those little seed balls that it does put out. And in my reading, and if you have SweetGum trees, please let me know your thoughts and feelings on this. But in my reading, they start to seed around 20 years. So that means I'll probably be like 74 and checking out. So yeah, that's not a problem for me. I'm not going to be worried about the seed balls. So the only issue with the seed balls really being is if you walk around barefoot, and I would never do such a thing in my garden due to the fire ants and other critters that walk through the grass around here. I've got crickets, spiders chasing crickets, crickets running from spiders, the fire ants, everybody running from the fire ants. So the heat's cooking my brain. I'm going to start babbling and dig a hole for this guy. I can also see I have a large water can here. This is a 2-gallon water can. So once we get this hole dug, probably put a little water in the bottom of the hole, and then we'll give this a thorough water in once this tree is in. Who needs to dig a hole? I just dig out a plug. If you're new to the channel, here where I am in eastern North Carolina, the soil is pretty cruddy. Right, actually you can see right here, it's pretty decent. It is fairly dark, but that comes and goes with the property. In some areas I only have maybe 2 to 3 inches of topsoil, and then there's like a loam, thick, heavy loam, almost like clay, and then right below that, anywhere from 4 to 6 inches down, sometimes deeper, sometimes higher, is clay. So it's not fun. It's not great soil. Like anything else, it can be improved. And I will be doing some of that today. Yeah, I've hit clay. The other nice thing about the SweetGum is that it it's not a sensitive tree in regards to the soil that it's planted in. It won't really do well in a bog, but on the flip side, it doesn't really mind the clay too much. Obviously, the better soil that it's in, the happier it will be. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen up the soil at the bottom of the hole. I think we're pretty good there. The next thing I'm going to do to improve my chances and odds of this tree growing, especially during the heat of the summer. This is not an optimal time to plant this tree, but as you can see, the tree's in a pot. Now I have been watering it in the pot, but it's been in there too long. I think it's been in there over a year now. I want to get it out of the pot, put it into some good compost, put it in the ground where I think it'll have a much better chance of surviving the summer versus up against the greenhouse in a black pot in sweltering heat. And we're not even in August yet, and it's just cooking hot. So I'm sure once August comes, the apocalypse will be officially here. Let's get this guy out of the pot. Well, so far it doesn't look too root bound. No, not root bound at all, really. And there's moisture at the bottom, which is good, which means the watering I've been doing just hasn't been watering the surface. There's a couple of dandelions here I'm going to pull out while I'm at it, and a few other weeds. That's a long root. That's a really long root. There you go. I did say I was going to put some water into the whole base of this tree. Is pretty wet, so I think I'm going to skip that. Try to straighten this tree out a bit. All right, something like that. I like that. I am planting it a little tall, a little high. That's because eventually this will settle a bit, and I want it to be just a little bit higher than the rest of the ground. There we go. See how when I step on it, it sinks a little. Let me finish this up real quick. I'm just going to push back some of the native soil here. I'm just going to take this other bag of compost, spread it out here. It'll help improve the soil around the tree. I'm not a master tree planter, but I have planted many trees. They survive. Generally, if you give them a decent enough hole with good enough material on the inside, they will do their thing and take care of themselves. Again, the SweetGum tree does not appear to be a princess, as it were, so far as soil conditions. But hopefully now that it's in the ground, I imagine there's going to be some transplant shock. Again, I'm planting probably not at a good time, being, what are we, mid-July now? It's hot. So, I don't even know what temperature it is, but it's hot. I'm going to give this guy a little bit more water. It may rain tomorrow. It may not rain tomorrow. But by giving it a good soak now, the soil will help settle in around the roots. And that'll be good for no air gaps. And I can also see where my low spots are and push the soil up. So this way it creates a little bit of a ring, a little bit of, so when it does get water, all that water doesn't just run right off. There you go. One SweetGum tree, 2 gallons of water, a couple bags of compost. It is a bit of a mess, but grass will grow back in quick enough. And hopefully, if this tree survives this year, cross our fingers, then it should take off next year. My only concern is which will grow faster, the sweet bay magnolia or the SweetGum tree. Oh, I know, not the most exciting video. Sorry about that. It is also incredibly hot, so this is the only thing we're going to do today. I'll probably come out tonight and do some more projects and videoing. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, click that bell icon to be notified when I do post a new video. With all that being said, I'm going to go find some air conditioning. I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.